Welcome to Queer Next, the podcast that puts the yeehaw in y'all means all. I'm your host, Beck.
And I am your host, Dash. Welcome to today's episode.
So you had a good birthday?
The day was wonderful. The aftermath has been very painful. I got not only a chest cold, but blisters upon blisters on my shoulder. I have more
so
blisters.
shiny.
I know. And my eyes were swollen from the sun. Like my eyelids were burnt. My hands were swollen from being burnt. It was bad. And I have new blisters today. Like, 4 days later do I have blisters? That doesn't make sense to me.
It just sounds like you got it good.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I always get real embarrassed anytime I get a sunburn.
Yeah. I went and got my hair cut on Tuesday, and the lady that cuts my hair totally roasted me because we had sunscreen with us.
You just didn't put enough on or forgot it? Or
Yeah, pretty much. It was just an overcast day, and it wasn't very hot, and just, we thought it would be fine, and stupid.
Was it the middle of the day?
Yeah,
or
we got there at like 11:30 and left at like 5.
That's when the sun is highest. You got there right when the sun was directly overhead.
We stayed in the water the whole time.
Oh, and this could be an old wives' tale, but I've heard and I believe experienced the water amplifying the sun's effect on skin, because you can start a fire with a bag of water, like a Ziploc bag of water. Do you know that?
Yeah.
If you hold it in the sun, right? Yeah, that's a like survivalist fire starting technique. The one I saw was this guy peed in a bag, and you hold it above like dried tinder, and it's like a magnifying glass. The sun will start it if it's dry enough. One time I went swimming, and it was early afternoon, and I was putting on what I thought was suntan lotion. And this was in the 2000s. Everyone wanted to look orange, like the Paris Hiltons and, like that bunch. And there was a product called tanning accelerator or accelerant.
Yeah.
And I guess it's sort of like putting olive oil on meat before you put it in, like crisps it up. And that's what I was putting on, not.
Oh, wow.
So I left and I was feeling weird. I was like, something's wrong. I'm just real hot or something. And was with this girl I was dating at the time. And we got in the car and I just looked down at my arm and I was like, I'm purple. My skin had turned purple. And you could tell that it was like the blood up underneath the skin. And I was like, something is real bad wrong. And
I'm dealing with that right now.
Yeah. By that evening, that's the worst sunburn I've ever had. And it has made I have an abundance of caution around the sun right now. And I don't even burn that easy.
Yeah. Neither do I. But I had some virgin skin showing. I don't really wear bathing suit parts very often. So like
Where'd
the top
y'all
of
go?
my chest. The Mulmy Bay State Park, their lodge.
Oh, yeah.
They have a nice pool. We went there and swam for the day. And then we went and got haunted spaghetti at the Spaghetti Warehouse in Toledo.
Okay, so what is haunted spaghetti? Because you were sick and we were texting, so I didn't ask you at the time. But what is haunted spaghetti?
The Spaghetti Warehouse, the restaurant itself is supposedly haunted. And it's really creepy. It's real dark in there. And there's like a subway car that there's seating inside of it. And there's like a giant wooden Indian and just random artifacts and it just feels real spooky in there. It was
Nice.
The taste of the food was good. They brought all the fresh bread we could eat, little loaves of bread. We killed it. Our one friend got chicken Alfredo, Shanna got baked ziti, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce, and it was all delicious.
I think I might actually fix some spaghetti. I've been eating the same pot of beans for a week. It's nice because they don't go bad for hardly anything. If you cook a pot of beans, they'll stay good for a long time. But then, it's hard to make just a small amount of beans. And so now I'm like a little over it.
Yeah.
Next thing I fix, I'm going to be carb loading.
Yeah. We make spaghetti sauce in giant batches, enough to make 6 nights worth of dinner. We do the night that we make it, and then we get 5 for the freezer.
You gave me some one time. I remember now. Don't you make yours? You put butter in it.
That's one way to make it. It's an onion, butter, tomato sauce. That's just a spaghetti. That's not my spaghetti that I make. My spaghetti is a meat sauce, and it has like green bell peppers and garlic and crushed tomatoes and everything, toasted garlic, and I put all those things in my spaghetti. But the other one, it was a New York Times. It was like a sensation. A lot of people made it. It was basically you browned an onion in butter and added tomatoes to it and crushed it and made a sauce. And it was delicious. You make it with angel hair pasta. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember you gave me, because you made a big batch of it, and you gave me a Tupperware of it. What was the first thing you learned to cook?
Probably chili because my
Mm.
mom didn't go all out. It was basically hamburger, a can of beans, and a packet of seasoning, and that was pretty much her chili. We made it with peanut butter sandwiches, and that was what it was. I still make it that way, but I added extra beans and tomatoes and an onion, and added more beef and less liquid, and then probably spaghetti is the second thing I learned to make.
Yeah, I think I remember my mom, she taught me her spaghetti meat sauce recipe, and I still make that one. I also have a creamy mushroom sauce I like to make. And obviously, cooking can mean a lot of things. So the first thing I cooked was probably just boiling water and putting ramen noodle packets in it.
Or grilled
Um,
cheese.
yeah, that was I cooked that one for David and Vanessa a lot, and then we had pot pies, and I would fix those. The very first cooking I did probably wasn't what I would consider cooking now, even though it's
Yeah.
still we were feeding people. So,
Yeah.
but actual recipe, it was mom. She taught me her biscuits recipe, her cornbread recipe, and her spaghetti meat sauce. And my dad taught me his chili recipe. He cooked actually quite a bit too. She usually fixed most of the meals because her schedule was more. His was so irregular, but when he did cook, I mean, he had his things he would make too, and he really loved to make chili.
Yeah, my dad did too. That's a coincidence. But he would put
Mm.
like 14 kinds of meat in it. He'd have like sausages and he'd put everything in it.
I actually recently started. I'm not gonna say recently because I'm in my 40s. This was probably about 15 years, maybe 20 years ago now. But I think I reached a certain age where I started to want to embellish my dad's recipe.
Yeah.
And so I started putting in like equal parts, like either Italian sausage or andouille sometimes.
Yeah.
And beef, I started making this. It's not stock, but the liquidy part.
My dad would use
with
coffee, black coffee.
I used Guinness, like dark beer. It's just got all that yeast and flavor, like the barley and wheat and stuff in it,
Hmm.
and V8 juice.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I'm real particular about sausage. I can't eat most of it. I'm just real
Oh, really?
particular about it. Yeah. Casings and
Texture.
hot dogs. And yeah, it's real. It's a no for me, dog.
We grew up eating bologna a lot, and now I don't care for bologna that much.
Yeah, me neither.
And it's also like I just don't care for that texture. It's a flat hot dog.
Yeah. Well, I don't eat either of them. So
Oh yeah, we ate a lot of Viennese sausages.
yeah. We ate a lot of there was a restaurant that delivered called Jim Dandy, and they had a little special called a Big Mo and a Coke, and they were for
Mm.
$1. You got a cheeseburger and a Coke for $1, and they would deliver, and we would order like 20 of them, and we would chow down.
Do you remember when McDonald's did the 29-cent hamburger Wednesdays?
Yep. Yep, I sure do.
I worked at McDonald's when they started those, and it was bonkers. People were coming through buying 60 to 100 hamburgers at a time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I come to find out, like, what they were doing was freezing them and thawing them out and eating them throughout the week, or taking them to school the kids would take them to school for their lunch. But yeah, that very first day I was working at the McDonald's in Williamsburg, they made us make hundreds of hamburgers. Like we had extra people on shift just to churn out hamburgers, and it was surreal. There were mountains of hamburgers everywhere. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever see anything like that again. Actually, no, that's not true, because one time when this time I was like homeless as an adult. I dropped out of college and didn't want to admit that I had done it. So I got in my metro and drove out to Western Kentucky. Had a high school friend that lived out there, and I was sleeping on her couch for a while, but it was one of those, it wasn't really a dorm, but it was like leased through the university that she attended type of thing. And so her
Right.
roommates told on me, and as they should, like I wasn't paying money to be there. I shouldn't have been sleeping on their couch, but I didn't have anywhere else to sleep. So I was sleeping in my car for a while. This is how I got into working at bowling alleys. There's a bowling alley in Western Kentucky in Bowling Green called Crescent Bowling Alley, and a lot of semi trucks would park there overnight. The long haul truckers would park there. So I would just stick my car in between them, and I lived in that parking lot for a couple weeks. I would go in the morning, take my toothbrush in there, and like wash and stuff when they open, because they opened at like 9 a.m. And so to like kind of as a ruse to go in there, I would ask the owner at the time. The general manager and owner was this gigantic dude named Teddy, and he was always there, and I would say, "Hey, you hiring?" and then go on to the bathroom and like clean up and stuff. And one day I walked in and he had paperwork sitting out, and he was like, "Fill this out. Can you start today?" I wasn't even really trying to find a job at the time. I was 19 years old. I wasn't putting it together that I was not in a good situation. I was still like, this is fine. I had a bunch of dried box food from Save-A-Lot, like the mac and cheese things or whatever. Water is always boiling. So if you just put that stuff in water, I'd sit it in the dash of the car and it would be soft after 20 minutes. It just takes longer. So I thought I was just kind of having a little adventure, but he put me on the snack bar. I could make tips that way. He was like, you can get some tips in your pocket this way. People would do birthday parties at bowling alleys. You know this, like everywhere that they had something like that. Yeah. Well, somebody booked one with us that was huge. We made hundreds of hot dogs and hamburgers, and they just never showed up. We don't know if it was like a prank or what. We were stuck at this bowling alley at closing time with mountains of hamburgers and hot dogs. And me and this other guy who was the mechanic that night, we just bought them all from the bowling alley for like $50 a piece. Put them in his freezer, and that we ate that for like 6 months, and I got scurvy.
That's not something you hear in 2025 very often.
That is a redneck tale right there. I didn't even believe the doctor because I was starting to get like weirdly sick and lost a shitload of weight, and my teeth were like hurting and my gums were like receding and stuff, and I had sores in my mouth, and I went to the doctor and they're like, you have not a stitch of vitamin C in your whole body. When's the last time you ate fruit?
You're like 1974.
Last night, but I didn't catch her name.
That's funny. McDonald's is not good cold. I can't imagine reheated. It would be much better.
But I do have a thing I love cold leftovers now, though. I just have a thing for cold French fries or any kind of fried potato out of the fridge. I won't heat it up. I just love to eat them cold because that was safe food. If you're scavenging food, if it's been in a refrigerator, it's safer than, I've eaten pizza out of trash cans too. You're really taking a gamble on that.
Right. Come here, Wenda. Come on. Hi, Wenda. Hello. She's been in a hyper mood.
She got the zoomies.
And what passes for zoomies for a 14-year-old pug mix. She doesn't move a whole lot, but she's been energetic. She's barked a lot today. She scares you to death because she doesn't have much hearing left. And you come in the door and she'll be asleep on the couch and she won't move a muscle. And it's like she's laying there and we're just like, I have to go over and like shake her to make sure she's still alive. My face is so shiny.
It's kind of purple too, like
on my back. There are purple splotches. I got a blister on this shoulder over here today, and it's like the size of a dime and puffed up like a marshmallow. It's disgusting.
That's incredible, dude.
My wife has to help me put my bra on because the ones I just keep blistering. She had to help me dry off out of the shower today so I didn't burst them all open. Thank God I have a wife who's willing to do gross things.
She works at a nursing home. You're ready.
Yeah, she's down for whatever.
Well, she loves you.
Yeah.
And she did that to you. Because I know it wasn't you that was like, let's go out and hang out in the sun.
Well, no, because I wanted to go swimming and we were going to go to the inside part because it was a little bit colder. I hadn't been swimming in a couple of years and I just had the urge to be submerged in water. I just wanted to float. I wanted to take the pressure off my body for a little bit. It's been in the 70s or the high 60s for like 3 weeks now. And it was like almost too cold to go swimming, but the water was so warm. Oh, it was like bath water. It was fantastic.
It was 45 here today.
Oh, wow.
And windy. Yeah, it's too early for this shit.
It got to 68 here.
I think it got up to 50 not long ago. I was wearing like a flannel and a jacket over it and a beanie when I went on my walk.
Oh, wow.
I think the older I get, my joints, they don't like the cold.
Well, you're in the wrong place for that, my friend.
No, I'm determined to get a winter sport though. Some sort of winter activity. One, I want to learn about hockey. Don't necessarily want to play it, but I want to understand it and maybe get a team to follow or something, like I haven't followed a sport in forever.
Yeah.
That would be fun. And I think that's the one that folks follow here. I mean, they have a pro football team, but I don't see people going around like, "Yar Vikings." They're not that,
right.
It's not that football-y here. And maybe the Vikings just aren't that good of a team, but I think it may be cultural because the college ball is not that big of a deal here either. The Gophers are the Minnesota team, and I think they're Big Ten is there. If I'm wrong, there'll be somebody in the comments telling me, and that's cool. But that's my only reference to sports is college and professional football. And I just need to branch out. I need to see what they're into here. I've decided I'm gonna learn about hockey.
You're gonna acclimate?
Yeah, I'm gonna assimilate.
I sound so rattly. I know it was really tough to lecture today. I had 2 classes, and we were talking about the second wave of feminism, and it was just like, I don't care. I don't feel good. I don't wanna be here. I am sunburned and blistered, and I'm coughing and, blowing my nose every 5 minutes, and I just wanna go home. But we got through it, and we had a pretty good discussion today, so that was good.
You want to hear something weird? The class that I don't like teaching anymore, I phrase that weirdly. I don't enjoy teaching feminism or WGS after transitioning.
Why?
I don't know. I think I just don't like talking about gender that much.
Well, true that. There's a lot of talk about gender.
Yeah, I think I'm maybe just tired of the whole concept of gender. And I say this a lot whenever people are like, trans people only think about gender. It's like, no, 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 no. We did this so we could stop thinking about gender all the time.
Right?
Right? It's you that won't shut up about what is I've got in my pants. This is me clocking out of thinking about gender all the time. So I realized I taught a course at EKU. I hadn't taught it for a long time. And I was like, I really don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy this. I like the history part, love talking about the history of social movements and like the work that people did. But the discussion in the classroom always centered around gender so much. It was a combination of no longer feeling like I held the identities of somebody that should be talking about it, and also just not wanting to talk about gender anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
I decided I'm not going to teach intro anymore. The next WGS courses I taught were like film. I taught like queer cinema or something like that.
The ethnic studies is the one that's intimidating for me because that's not my area of expertise. So I feel like I'm just figuring it out as I go, even though I've taught it twice now. But I feel like it's gotten a lot better from the first one. So
I think it's important for people who hold dominant identities to get comfortable leading discussions around equity, but there's such a danger for someone with a dominant racial identity to be leading discussions around racial justice, in that they almost certainly mean well, but the moments where we mean the best are sometimes where we do the most damage because we haven't finished the work yet. You ever get the feeling somebody's giving you advice and they're really just talking to themselves?
Yeah.
Like, you're just giving yourself advice right now, and I'm here for it. Sometimes when a person is early in social justice work, and they begin to maybe wade into deeper waters than they're qualified for or ready for, it kind of comes a little out like they're only talking to their own experience, and that's not what anybody's interested in. The experience of the person with the dominant identities, that should never be the center that you're coming at this from.
Right. I make it a point that I'm a white woman talking about that. That's one of the reasons I bring in so many videos, because I can never tell you what it's like to be a black man, but I can find a black man who's talking about it and we can learn from him. And that's one of the reasons I assign so many readings and stuff, because I don't want to be some white lady standing in the front of the room saying this is race and ethnicity, because I only know the work that I have done, right? I know what my black friends have told me, my black peers and colleagues, what I've read, what I've written, the research that I've done, and I'm going to do the best job that I can here, but it's not going to be perfect, but we can definitely learn from each other.
I think that's why that like critical whiteness framework is so potent, because I absolutely do think that people with dominant identities need to be doing, even leading in some arenas. But
the people who hold up the systems of racism, of homophobia, the dominant culture, the basically the white men, if racism could have been solved by black people, it would have been solved by now. And if sexism could be solved by women, it would have been solved by now. We need the people who are in power, who have the cultural hegemony. We need those people to do the work and to do the talking, because white people listen to other white people. So it's imperative. We'll never make progress unless more white people and more men get involved.
That was where I wound up when I was thinking about not wanting to teach WGS anymore, because I was like, yeah, I'm sure that there's some like discomfort and maybe trauma related things for me not wanting to talk about that. But a cis white passing man is precisely who you need talking about gender equity, especially in a classroom in Kentucky.
Right.
Because who's going to be listened to in that context? So I have like gone back and forth about like chickening out, I guess, in a way of that, or privileging my own comfort. It's kind of a moot point now because I'm not really in the classroom, but I'm not going to like clock out of having the discussions because I hold a ton of power and privilege.
Right.
It's mostly pretty privilege though.
I got into a debate about that the other day, about whether the privilege is real.
Oh God. People still out here doing that?
Yeah. The The way that I set up the class, because we're in week 2 right now, and today, this is on Thursday, we talked about privilege, and we talked about what privilege is, not just white privilege, but we talked about male privilege, able-bodied privilege, religious privilege, wealth privilege, age privilege, and we talked about how it's the things that didn't systemically make your life harder. You know, I was born a woman. Has that made my life harder? Fuck yes. I was born white. Has that made my life harder? Absolutely not. I was born gay. Does that make my life harder? Absolutely. Maybe my mom would have come to my wedding if I was straight, you know? That with privilege, you have to, it's about wielding it, right? And understand, like Dr. Phil taught us, one of the only useful things he ever taught us is that if you have to acknowledge a problem, if you don't acknowledge the problem, you can't fix it, right?
Mhm.
And so that's why you need people to learn about privilege and to understand that they have it. Because then if you're a white man and you're given all this privilege and you get a raise at work or you get a promotion, use that power to bring up people of color behind you or women or other people who are minorities in your workplace. Do that work.
Because so much of this is just on cruise control now. The isms, the inequity of the American social structure, they're features, not bugs.
Oh, the system does exactly what it's designed to do.
Exactly. It was built this way, purpose built. When a person benefits from these features that are not bugs, they are not the evil for having this benefit, but they are in a position to do some good by pausing and drawing attention to the feature. It's hard though.
Yeah.
Just to keep track of it all, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we're saturated in it.
When you say racism is in everything, it is in everything. Everything. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so passionate about doing the job that I do. I feel like I said, white kids listen to white people. Because I have one class that is completely white, taking an ethnic studies class. They all look
Cool.
white anyway to me. There's no people of color that are obviously people of color in the room or identified as such. But I told them you probably had some reservations about taking such a class because you don't have an ethnicity. You don't have a race according to American culture, right? And I got some smiles from that because clearly they did. I think it's important to be having these conversations. I'm glad that BG still requires that they take a class in cultural studies because, you know, it's important information that we're teaching.
Who knows how much time that curriculum has left. Although, not to be weird, but and I don't wish anyone dies necessarily, but
there are some people I will look fondly upon their obituaries.
There's a certain wannabe dictator that could be on his last legs right now, and things are only going to get weirder after that. In whatever way it transpires, there'll be a new challenge, or this will look a different way. Just staying nimble and trying to keep a sense of our humor, a sense of where we are as people and why we really bother fighting this sometimes is only going to pay dividends. And just investing in young people or our peers or our elders, whoever, in whatever ways we can, that work is never wasted. Gosh, we're just so passionate today. Maybe we should spin this wheel, what have you. It'll give us something stupid to talk about. It landed on hijinks. Have we had that one?
I don't think so.
Okay, hijinks. What kind of word is hijinks, first of all? Like, I think I know what it means, but what is the, I almost said entomology of that word. Etymology.
Yeah.
Entomology is bugs.
Right. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Hijinks refers to boisterous, noisy, and mischievous merrymaking, or carefree antics, often playful and high-spirited. So I know that you were more on the only child track in some ways.
That's why I read so much.
But like, did you get into shit either though? Like,
only when my brother made me, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked being inside with my books. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's just what I liked. I would come home from school and play school on the porch with my friends. There were 2 little girls. We lived in a house from the time I was in around 1st grade until we moved when I was in the 6th grade. So those are pretty formative years. And there were 2 girls that lived on my block that I was pretty close with. They would come over and we'd play school right after school. Like, that's the kind of nerd that I was. I didn't like climbing trees. I didn't like getting dirty besides playing softball. If it was softball season, I was all about softball. But otherwise, I was pretty much about homework and doing all that kind of stuff.
I was pretty much always around other kids, either David and Vanessa or our cousins who were all our age, and we hung out a lot, especially when school was out. And we would play these huge, sprawling, sometimes complicated games. Like, there was the normal ones, like red light, green light. We would play Simon Says, we would play Statue, but then we would also invent things. And so I remember there was a game we played this whole summer. Every time we got together, we would do this thing where I had this one cousin who was always very skinny. He was always really small. And we would make a game where he would be a ventriloquist dummy and sit on our older cousin's knee, and they would put together a ventriloquism routine for the younger kids. You're really having a great time when you're cackling. A whole mess of kids is cackling so big that the adults come to see if you've like gotten into something you ought not to be into. So we played that all summer long, and I can still like remember I just had this feeling at the or an awareness that this is not ever going to happen again. This is one of those things that is like lightning in a bottle.
Right.
It's never as funny the second time. You can't recreate that magic. You grow up a little bit every time in between.
Well, my cousins, I have 41 first cousins. I had 19 aunts and uncles before you even started counting their spouses. My three parents had 19 siblings between them. And of the 41 cousins, I'm next to last.
Yeah.
So all my cousins are getting in their 60s and their late 50s, and I'm still sitting back here at 47. And so I have pictures of me at their high school graduations, and they're carrying me around on their hip. They were cutting my hair and dressed me up, and I was their little doll. Maybe that's what made me so queer. I have several gay roots.
Yeah. We played baseball a lot, and I got my first like really spectacular black eye was from playing baseball with my cousins. I got hit right in the eye socket with a line drive. Yeah, when I was maybe probably 7.
That happened to my nephew, and he broke his orbital bone.
I didn't go to the doctor or anything. Man, I'm just now thinking back like how many times I should have gone to the doctor for stuff when I was a kid, and we just didn't do it. Like that was clearly a concussion. I was unconscious for a long time. I think hijinks means something different when you start to get older.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about times with my best friends and things that maybe we shouldn't talk about on air. Like, I'm not much of a drinker at all. I never really have been. But one time, my best friend, when we lived in Huntington, she still lives in Huntington, but I lived in Huntington, West Virginia, and it was before I had ever met Shanna or anything. I lived in this big old house by myself. I had a girlfriend, but we broke up and she moved out. Tracy came and got me, and we were going to go drinking, and we went to Applebee's, of all places. And we sat at the bar at Applebee's, and she was buying, and she got me shit-faced drunk, and she was driving, and she should not have been driving. And there's an S curve in Huntington that you had to go through to get to my house. It's like a snaking little S curve that you have to slow down for. And while we were in the Applebee's, it started snowing pretty heavily.
Oh,
And
no.
Huntington is famous for not getting the road salted quickly enough. And we went through that S curve, and the car spun 360 all the way around. And I was like glued to the sides with my arms out.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There was so many. We had a bunch of field parties when I was in high school. Like that was.
I went to a couple of those. Yeah.
Also in college, house parties and field parties were the thing when I was in college. You could get a keg of Natty Light for $120. So we would all just put in $5 and get somebody's truck, put it in the back of that, and then take it out to the middle of a field, and that's where we would have our party that night. That's the kind of thing. Like I do think fondly back on those nights, but you couldn't pay me to do that shit right now.
Right.
I'm not going to the field for a kegger.
Getting
you ever
my
done a
shoes
keg
muddy?
stand?
No, but I have done the ones, the funnel where you did what is that called? Where they put it,
beer bong?
Yeah. Yeah. How did I forget that?
I don't know. I have done that one a few times successfully, but really didn't enjoy it. But there is something, well, really, they're both kind of like this. It's going to sound crazy. They're wholesome because it's a village, right? Like somebody has to hold your legs up in the air. Somebody else has to operate the little plunger on the valve. And, people are holding your hair up or something, and everybody's standing around cheering. It's such a stupid thing to do, but you got the back scratcher.
Yeah.
Does it have a hand on the end?
No, I've had this particular back scratcher. I bought one the year I met Shanna. I went to Pier 1 Christmas shopping, and they had these on the desk for $1 a piece. So I bought Tracy, my best friend, one. I bought my mom one. I bought me one, and I bought Shanna one. So this was 20 years ago, and Tracy just broke hers like a year ago, and my mom's was still at her house when she died.
That just reminded me that you bought me one of those when I got my top surgery. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I had a friend that had also gone through top surgery, and I asked him what he wished he'd had. And he said, God, a back scratcher. So that's what I got you.
It was Yeah, it was incredible. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's genius. That is somebody who's really thinking about what the next at least week is going to be like.
Right.
And
I've
man, that recovering from top surgery was, I think about this often. It is one of the most metal things I've ever done. And I have detoxed myself, from substances. And Sabrina was with me for 5 days of it. But I was so afraid of getting addicted to the pain medicine that I stopped taking it. I got what is called double incision. So they cut me from armpit to armpit all the way straight across. And I'm on no pain meds on day 3.
Wow.
And I had to fly. I was in North Carolina, so I had to fly by myself, go through TSA like that. And it was just the most god awful flight. And you can't wipe your own ass. It was hardcore. People think that people are out here transitioning just for the hell of it. They are not.
Yeah. So just so they can go in the women's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I've always gotten compliments for. I'm a pretty good gift giver. I'm a thoughtful gift
Yeah,
giver.
absolutely.
It's one of my love languages.
I wish I was better at it.
Do you know your love language?
I don't know. What are they?
I don't know them all. I know that mine is acts
Hang
of
on.
service.
Let me look it up. Is there a finite number of them?
Yeah, I
Or-
think so. There's like 7 or something like
Okay.
that.
5 love languages. Okay. Ooh, I clicked on a sponsored link. God, what's going to happen to me now? This is called Simple Body something or other. Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts. Receiving gifts is a love language?
That's weird. I think giving gifts.
Maybe that's what this is supposed to say. I think I'm on somebody's shitty blog. Here, hang on.
My face is so shiny.
Oh, Candace Cameron wants me to take a love language quiz. Oh my God, just tell me what they are. What is happening? I can't just Google something because I want to know it or you want to sell me something? No, receiving gifts is a love language. To this person, nothing makes them feel as special as receiving a well thought out gift. So this is okay, I don't understand this. If someone's love language is receiving gifts, then you should give them a gift. Okay, that makes sense. Quality time, physical touch. I'm gonna guess that mine is quality time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like being around people. Yeah, it's probably quality time.
Mine is definitely acts of service because it's like you show me that you love me more than just tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Like she had to help me dry off this morning out of the shower. That's an act of service.
Helping people with an errand if they're busy, if they have something to do. I'm like, the best thing I have to give is my time. That's not actually a really high recommendation.
I enjoy spending time with you, so.
Aw. It does seem like that's like what I want out of somebody that I really love is just them. I want to have some access to my favorite part, I guess, is having access to them and being around them and getting to hear about the things they're interested in. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I gotta come up with some stuff to get for Christmas. I've made a sudden commitment to go home to Kentucky for Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
Because that's when my family has Christmas. They don't do Thanksgiving. Yeah, they just have Christmas instead. So we've lived apart for so long. Vanessa and her kids, they come to our parents' house for Thanksgiving, and then her husband, instead of trying to do all the holidays twice, they just split them up that way.
I've lost several of my cousins. 4 of my first cousins I never met. They died in a fire before I was born. And I was named after one of them. So there were 2 Rebeccas in our family. But the rest of them, so that leaves the 37 left. They're all starting to get older and starting to retire. A lot of them are Trumpers, unfortunately, and they don't get what I do whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like the news that I post or the links that I post, or because that's how we all stay in touch is Facebook these days.
Yeah, I don't. Well, and my Facebook's all fake. It's mostly podcasting people on there and some coworkers.
I've had the same one for however long Facebook's been since 2007 or whatever it's been.
I think the last one I had is still out there somewhere. I don't know how long before they deactivate themselves, but it also wasn't my real name. I remember so David had a Facebook, and you can memorialize a Facebook.
Yeah, we did that to my mom's.
But you have to have certain details of it, and we didn't know them. So I kept getting notifications from his Facebook. At first, I just unfriended him, and then it kept suggesting him as a friend. And then people would tag me. The hero worship after he died, people would tag me in his Facebook in it, and we just couldn't get Facebook to shut it down. And so I just got rid of that whole account.
Wow.
But I think an account will of its own accord maybe expire if you leave it dormant long enough. I don't know that for sure.
I'm not sure. I made it a point because I didn't want my dad's girlfriend to get in mom's because he was still using her account. I really did it to piss off my dad because it blocked his access to his games and he had millions of tokens saved up and that kind of thing.
Oh, no.
I was so mad at him for getting a girlfriend, I shut it off.
Have you ever changed somebody's password on like a shared account or something? I can't remember if I have either. You know what I realized the other day is like if we ever get famous, there's going to be people who knew me back when I was a total scumbag coming out and trying to cancel us.
Yeah.
So like, have you listened to the show? Like everybody knows what a dirtbag I used to be. Good luck coming up with something that I haven't already said about myself.
Right?
Man, I am so happy to not be that generation that's grown up with with social media.
Oh man, yeah.
The cringe that these people are having to. Can you imagine being, 30, looking back on a social media account you had when you were 10 and going like, golly, who was letting me say that stuff?
Yeah. I had because I will sometimes Google students and I tell them that if you send me an email that's stupid enough, I'll probably email you. Or if you piss me off or whatever, I'm going to see what's out there. And I found a kid who on his Twitter, it looked like it hadn't been updated in like 5 years or something, but he had used the N word in one
Oh,
of his
God.
posts. And I was like, maybe you should do something about that. And he was like, oh my God, I didn't know this was out there, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Well, and dude, being on like gay social apps or dating apps or something like that, especially, I have had a Grinder or Grinder accounts off and on, and just I've made friends that way. I've made friends on OkCupid as well. Like you can set your filters and stuff so that you can't see people in a certain age range and they can't see you either. But I discovered when I started going to work specifically in LGBTQIA2S plus work, they will find a way around it. They'll create burner accounts or they'll lie about their age because it's on the honor system. And there was one that contacted me and it took me a minute to figure out who it was, but they had their social links on their Grinder profile. Can you imagine being just that out here? I was so naive, I didn't realize what it was. And it was a porn Twitter account.
oh God.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, that's enough Grinder. That's enough Grinder for me. Never again.
I've never had a dating app in my life. My wife and
Yeah,
I
well.
got together before that was a thing. I don't even
Some
know
of-
if it's swipe left or swipe right.
I've made friends on Grinder because some people are actually on there to make friends because it's the only place you can actually know you're going to talk to gay people.
Right.
So yeah, it's a hookup app, but some of them who put friends only in their profile actually mean that. And it's just because there's not gay bars. And even if there were, I probably wouldn't go to one if it's here in town because my students would be at it.
Yeah. Yeah. We met at a friend's party. She came over to hang out and I happened to be there and we sat on the floor and laughed for hours and basically haven't separated since.
Didn't you turned her, didn't you?
Yeah, she was the token straight girl in a circle of gay people. And now most of them have gone straight and she's the token gay one.
Oh,
So,
hell yeah.
yeah. We surprised them all. None of them thought we would make it this far. And here we are, better than ever.
I had started dating this girl for 1 month when David died. She hadn't even met my family yet. She met them because he died. That kind of, I think, probably like impacted what the rest of that relationship was like.
Right, for sure.
In a way, it wasn't bad though. It was what killed that relationship? Fucking grad school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grad students are listeners. Which camera do I look in? Is this my camera here? Do not date a grad student. We are the absolute worst. If your partner says they're going to go to grad school, say, all right, I'll see you when you're done. The just know it all, snot nose bullshit that we get into almost immediately when we go to grad school. I don't know what gets into us, but I think it's imposter syndrome.
Yeah, definitely.
Just remember that fear of everybody else is smarter than me.
Yeah, and everybody else deserves to be here and I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I definitely felt that a lot. I was the first person in my family to graduate from high school. And so to be there in a master's program and then a PhD program, it was so far from anything that I had ever even imagined for myself. It really did feel a lot like imposter, like I didn't belong there. I showed up anyway.
I know.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Well, that's a good time to hear from this week's sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the unofficial garment of rural queers everywhere, flannel shirts.
Yay!
Equal parts badge of honor and armor. Flannel enthusiasts of all genders and sexualities love it for its simplicity, versatility, and dependability. You can chop wood in it, you can kiss girls in it, and you can attend Thanksgiving in it, and your grandma will just sigh and say, "At least you look warm." If you're overcome with the desire to blend in with the furniture at a family reunion, just put on a flannel. You can head straight to the gay bar afterwards and be signaling every queer within a 5-mile radius. Same flannel, just with one less button and both sleeves rolled up. A nice plaid flannel shirt performs the magic trick of somehow being both camouflage and queer beacon, shielding you when needed with just enough plausible deniability. They're shouting to the treetops like some bird of paradise performing for its mate. This works in a wide variety of cross-functional situations. Button it up all the way for choir practice conservative, or wear it unbuttoned over a tank top for that Tractor Supply sapphic aesthetic. Tie it around your waist, paired with a backwards baseball hat, and you'll ascend to bisexual god status. This fall, skip the mall and head to the safe haven of yard sales. For the price of one sad iced latte, you can thrift 3 flannels that already smell faintly of chainsaw oil and woodsy trysts. When you put one on, you're not just getting dressed, you're joining a lineage of queer rednecks who've been finding each other across bonfires, hay rides, and tractor pulls for generations. Flannel, not just a fabric, but a lifestyle.
Amen. I love
Yeah.
my flannels. It's totally
flannel
almost
now.
flannel weather.
Yeah.
And my favorite one was borrowed from my niece's boyfriend. He had moved out and left a few things, and he left my favorite flannel. I stole that right on out from that pile.
What is it? What is it about a good flannel?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it really does feel like I'm untouchable. Nobody can get
Yeah.
me now.
Yeah. I've collected quite a few over the past couple of years, but I live in the fucking North Pole, you know?
My mom asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said I wanted some new flannels.
Nice.
Living that dyke legacy. Somebody called me a bull dyke once, and I had never heard that. I think what hurt my feelings about it, though, was because I'd never heard it before. And I'm like, how dare you call me something I've never even heard of? Like a new slur at this point in my life? They can do that? But I don't know what the bull part is. Watch me Google this. Is Candace Cameron Bure going to come at me again over the next thing I Google?
Probably. She seems like the type.
The etymology of dyke and bull dyke. Oh, this is a Taylor and Francis article. It says obscure origin. So nobody knows where it came from. You remember how there was a fad in the early 2010s of queer spaces, everyone going around saying, I identify as such and such. I'm glad we don't do it anymore because it's super problematic and, just asking people to know a lot about themselves and share that openly with people. So I would, the only time I've ever encountered it was there at BG. And I think it was just that moment in time at BG. And so I would always come out with something unhinged to say I identify as. And I started saying I identify as a white trash dyke. They hated it. They did not. I mean, Tobias thought it was funny, but he was the only one. Well, did you bring a noun of Appalachian interest with you?
I did. I brought an interesting one today. It's a place.
Ooh.
All right, y'all. It's time for another installment of Nouns of Appalachian Interest, where we celebrate the people, places, and things that make Appalachia, well, Appalachia. Today's noun is a place, one that's equal parts fancy, historic, and just a tiny bit suspicious. Let's talk about the Greenbrier. The Greenbrier is a luxury resort in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, and it's been around since 1778, which is at least 3 times older than your favorite pair of tennis shoes. It's got white columns, manicured gardens, and enough chandeliers to make Liberace look like he was decorating on a dare. But the real kicker beneath the southern charm is a massive Cold War-era secret, a 112,000 square foot underground bunker built to hide the entire U.S. Congress in case of nuclear disaster. Yep, while guests were upstairs playing croquet and sipping tea, the government was quietly stockpiling cots, canned food, and enough bottled water to float a bass boat. For over 30 years, this bunker was one of America's most closely guarded secrets, codenamed Project Greek Island. It had its own radio station, a hospital, and a power plant. The walls were 3 feet of reinforced concrete designed to withstand a nuclear blast. And yet it was hidden behind a literal fake door that said high voltage, keep out. Because apparently in the Cold War, the best security system was just making something look boring. The whole thing stayed hush-hush until the 90s when the Washington Post spilled the beans. Now you can actually tour it, walk past rows of dorm-style bunk beds and stand in the meeting room where, in theory, Congress would have been legislating in their pajamas while the world above was in chaos. So yeah, the Greenbrier isn't just a pretty place to play golf. It's living proof that in Appalachia, we don't just build resorts, we build them apocalypse ready.
That's crazy. I didn't
Do you
know
about
that.
Oh yeah,
No.
the Greenbrier. Yeah,
The
you
Greenbrier
Google it.
Resort. Okay. Oh, it's beautiful.
And there's a total 112,000 square foot bunker built into the bottom of it. And
Can
if
you
there was
rent
going
out
to,
the bunker?
oh, I don't know about that. But if there were to be like some kind of national emergency, they were all supposed to go there. I believe the new one is under the Denver airport.
I was about to ask, is this current?
Now that they know about it, I think it's out of commission.
Yeah, interesting. That is so cool. I love shit like that. We can make a reservation there and go ride around in a horse buggy.
That would be awesome. I do want to tour it one day.
Yeah, I don't know how to play golf, so I'd just be a menace out there. But is this? You said it's a golf course, right?
Among other things.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's a
got
whole
lot going
inn.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Well, we have been talking our asses off, so
Yeah.
maybe it's time to hang this one up and let you go back to bed and put. Are you
Yeah,
putting
and
aloe
hell.
on?
Yes, I have it with lidocaine.
Oh,
Aloe with
good.
lidocaine. Yeah.
That's good shit.
Yeah. Sleeping was so, like, I slept totally topless the other night because I like just the seams on my shirt hurt, you know?
You like
It's-
starfish in the bed.
Yeah. Well, it was the hard, my skin is all tight. It doesn't, my arms don't want to really raise too far above my head because that's where all on my shoulders is where all the blisters are.
You're
So,
really describing the top surgery experience right now.
yeah.
Because there's
well,
like a good 6 months where you can't raise your arms above your head.
yeah. I'm with you in solidarity, my friends. It's absolutely sucked. And I'm glad it's only lasting a week. But I thought it would be like getting better by now. And in some ways it is. I was able to shower today finally.
Well,
but the blisters, ugh.
the older you get, the longer those take to heal.
Well, I'm 47 now, so
You decided to make your birthday into a gauntlet.
yeah.
Dude,
I threw
just-
down, man. But I had a really good day that day. And we went for a tattoo appointment to get it scheduled and everything. My tattoo is September 10th, so
Awesome.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, thank you to everyone who listened again. Thanks for everybody who's been hanging out with us on social media. That's been fun.
If you're still listening, hashtag in our comments, yeehaw, fuck the law.
Yeah, apparently that's our hashtag now is yeehaw fuck the law. And send us an email if Beck's working on a website. Once she gets feeling better, we'll might start to put up some other kinds of content. Who knows?
And sign up
we're-
for our fun newsletter.
Oh, yeah, sign up for the newsletter on Substack. You can do that on our website at queernext.captivate.fm. But it's on Substack, and you can sign up for it in the show notes of this episode. I'll put that in there. But there's a movie coming out that I want us to do like a special review of for Halloween. It's Queen of the Dead. It's made by George Romero's daughter. It's a queer zombie movie. It's supposed to be camp as all get out. Everybody's very excited about it. And it just reminds me of like Queer Wolf. And so it'd be fun for us to do some sort of like double feature or something. If we like got it, maybe if we got a Discord or something or just had a watch party, would y'all be interested in that? Let us know. Oh, also Spotify. I was digging around in the demographic data. You can set your gender to non-binary now on Spotify. And
That's
so
awesome.
listeners, if you're a Spotifyer and you identify as non-binary, go look at the most recent update. You can designate your gender in there, and I would love to see that little non-binary bar fill up in our demographic thing because I know you're out there. We love y'all and say hi to your mom and them.
Bye.